Now, it's not just because the man is a godly man that the woman wants to invest in the godly bad boy, so to speak, but it's because he knows how to incite a woman to invest into him. And I think that you're going to hear a lot of different kinds of forms of advice when it comes to how to get women invested in you as a man. But I want to be a little bit more practical in regard to this topic and give you guys some, hopefully, insight that is going to shed some more light on just the practicalities of intersexual dynamics. You might hear a lot of the times where people will say, dating apps or dating gurus or dating people will say, oh, well, you got to have a sense of uncertainty. A woman will only be attracted to you if your feelings are unclear. I cannot think of a time in the past few years since I began to follow Christ where I expressed interest in a woman and her interest level dropped. What I did whenever I expressed interest in a woman, I've straight up told women that I desire them. I'll just go over to them, start a conversation, and I'll just jump right into it and be like, look, I desire you. And they'll be like, what? Because usually they don't have people just be that forward. And I say, look, no, I want to make my intentions clear here. Like, I find you attractive and I want to see where this goes. I'm not sold yet, but I find you attractive. That's kind of the mentality that I have going into it. And every single time, it either enhances the woman's attraction toward me or it just reveals who she truly is. And I get to walk away knowing that I did what I wanted in both scenarios and in any scenario. And there's something really satisfying as a man to be able to just go up to a woman, shake her hand, and introduce yourself and ask her for her name and just go with it. I mean, you don't need to make this so complex, so complicated or complex. And I think a lot of guys will say like, oh, well, it's not that easy. It's like, well, of course it's not that easy with the wrong types of women. But that's why you have to be willing to walk away. And that is ultimately what's going to get a woman invested in you, is if you can set boundaries, appropriate boundaries, and show the willingness to not necessarily take her too seriously just yet. Like, look, I know you like me, but I don't know how I feel just yet about you, but not in a way where it's like, I'm uncertain about you. It's more like, I find you attractive, but I don't know if we're compatible just yet. And you can say that too. It doesn't need to be so, yes, you want to keep that element of mystery, but I don't think that you need to be so, you don't need to be so gamey when it comes to this thing. I personally just believe in your balls. Like, I believe in your balls. You need to believe in yours, man. Like, you gotta just act when it comes to what your balls are telling you to do. It's really not that hard. And no pun intended, but the point is like, you don't need to act on these desires all the time though, right? Because as a godly man who maybe just so happens to be a godly bad boy, and when I say that, I don't mean that you're intentionally trying to break women's hearts or anything like that. You're not trying to be a player. You're just honest and you hold your integrity and you let your balls hang, and then you go about your business and you go about your day. I don't think people need to think too critically on this kind of a thing, because it's just not that deep. It's just not. Women really are not that complex. They're really not. They don't really have the mystique that like society wants us to believe that they have. Okay, women are not too complex. And I don't think that like the only reason that women want to be complex or seen as complex is just to mess with your head, man. It's just to mess with you. It's not because they're actually complex. Most of the time, all you have to do as a man is show her interest and show her that you want her without being a weirdo about it, and be willing to walk away if she's not reciprocating. Because if you, as a godly bad boy per se, are somebody that can raise and heighten a woman's perception of being, just being around you, she feels more elevated. Just being around you, she feels closer to God. Just talking to you, she feels closer to God. That's a privilege for her. Okay, it's not like you don't need to put the Pink Palace on a pedestal here, okay? You don't need to put the Pink Palace on this kind of pedestal where you don't see and worship, like you don't worship God anymore. You worship the Pink Palace. And I understand lust is a very challenging thing for a lot of guys to overcome, and it's not an easy task, and it's way easier said than done. But at the same time, I think that many men are caught up, like a lot of nice guys, let's say, like there's a lot of nice guys that are well-intentional, right? They have good intentions, you know, they're safe to be around, you know, they're kind, they're gentle, they're all these things, whatever. But the thing is what makes the godly bad boy stand out from the nice guy is that the godly bad boy, he knows what he's getting into when he expresses himself, and he's masculine enough to stay in his own lane. The nice guy will bend over frontwards and backwards, and he'll move mountains just to satisfy her temporary desires. But a godly bad boy will do what he wants to do on his own time. And you know, when you're around a godly woman, she wants it to be on your time. Like, she wants you to be the leader. She wants to be able to rely on you. And you got to be able to do that by showing her that you don't need to rely on her. She can rely on you when you demonstrate that you don't need to rely on her. But you're not going to let her walk all over your boundaries or anything if she doesn't know how to handle this. Like, you as a man are very aware of what a woman can do and what can she behave like, but you're not going to let this get to you. And a lot of men let it get to them because they just don't know what it's like to be with themselves. A lot of men have not spent enough time by themselves to really fully comprehend and appreciate their own value, like their own sense of being and purpose. And I think that this is one of the reasons why nice guys are the way that they are. And I'm not encouraging you, again, to like go out and break women's hearts or anything like that, or do anything too crazy. But what I think is very important for you to do is to recognize how you don't need to be in constant communication or constant contact unless you want to be, but even then, like, if you're really in your frame as a man, you know that you need space from the woman every now and again. You know that, like, no, go over there, you know, go over there for the time being, because I need my space. I need my space here for a minute. It's not because I don't want you. It's not because I don't desire you. It's just that I need my space for a moment. And if you can demonstrate individuality, that's another thing that it's gonna get her attached. And again, I really cannot think of a time where I've expressed interest in a woman and there's been like a really terrible thing that's happened in the past few years. When I was in my beta phase, you could say that definitely was the case, but it was because I was chasing. I was chasing for validation. I was chasing for approval. I wasn't chasing my purpose, and I wasn't pursuing God. I wasn't following Jesus as my number one priority. Because you can be excited about a woman, or you can be excited about a new possibility of a relationship and whatnot. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you become like more attached to the idea of the relationship, or the possibility of the relationship, or the woman herself, you keep your eyes, you at that point will have kept your eyes off of God. And you need to keep your eyes on God at all times. And that's really another thing that makes the godly bad boy stand out, is because he knows how to walk away, demonstrate value, be on his purpose, do what he needs to do, and still demonstrate that he wants her. But he can walk away at any time. And this gets women attracted to you, and they get invested, because think about this, right? Like, think about a time where you've invested into something, and you didn't really have like a good chance of keeping it, right? Like, if you knew you invested into something and you didn't have a good chance of keeping it, why would you invest into it, right? Well, the thing is like, sometimes people stay in terrible relationships. Like, women will choose, everybody knows this on the YouTube sphere. It's like, women will choose thugs or these weirdos and whatnot, the Pookie and Ray Rays. They'll choose these kinds of guys, but then the solid men, the solid attractive men, they'll overlook. It's like, well, it's often because a lot of women are just not ready for the solid attractive man that is godly and on his purpose, and he knows how to walk away. They're just not ready for him. And that's something that you have to recognize. If this is you, if you got to be honest with yourself, though, be honest. Because I know in my past, like, that's what got me to the place that I am now, is just being honest. And I was able to look myself in the mirror and be like, look, I am not the man that I need to be right now. And I am putting too much emphasis on trying to get a relationship. This was years and years ago, but still, I had to be honest with myself. And I had to say, like, look, I'd like to think that I'm these things, but I'm not. And that's not a bad thing. But this means that I do not have the right to look for a godly woman or a woman of value if I myself don't have something of value to offer and to give. Because think about this, right? The real maturation of value in giving, like, when you can get to a point to where you can give without really feeling a sense of loss, that's true godly abundance, right? That's true godliness. That's true implementation of faith in Christ, that God will provide. Okay? God will provide. And I think a lot of men are just not at this point because they don't know how to have faith in God. I really think that's the case a lot of the time. And it's derived from a sense of knowing. It doesn't come from a place of believing all the time. Like, it does, like, you have to kind of psych yourself into that form of knowing. You kind of have to have this pathological self-confidence to the point to where it's no longer pathological. You just trust that this is who you are, and this is who you want to be, and this is what you're about. And you can do this through prayer. You can do this through meditation. You can do this, like, think about all the kinds of prayers or mantras that people do. I don't really do mantras, but I understand the utility of them. It's basically just thought algorithms that are programming your subconscious mind. That's what a lot of prayer is too. Okay, a lot of prayer is just subconscious programming done consciously. So if you're in a place where you don't know how to do something, like, at all, specifically when it comes to regard with how do I get a woman to invest in me, well, you gotta make her invest in you. You gotta make her want to invest in you, but you also can't force that either. Like, you can't force somebody to invest in you. You have to just demonstrate the ability to, like, this is what I want as a man, this is what I'm looking for. If you cannot do that, or provide that and reciprocate that, rather, I'm out. That's what you need to do. I got a lot of flack over the past year or two from dudes who online, they would tell me, like, you should never tell a woman that you want commitment. It's like, why? Well, because she's going to treat you like this. It's like, but why would I do that though? Like, why should I do that? Because I've had terribly different results than you have, apparently. Because every time I demonstrate I want a commitment, or I hint at the possibility of commitment, like, look, I want a commitment and I want to get married someday, or I want to have a family someday, whatever it is you want to say, right? I usually say, I want to have a family someday. I want something meaningful. I want to build something meaningful. I say that off the rip so that I know if she's not ready for it, she can go somewhere else. And if she is ready for it, she's now going to want to invest back in me. I don't think it needs to be so complex. A lot of these red pill dudes and the manosphere dudes, like, I don't resonate with them anymore at all. Like, maybe years and years ago I did, but now I want to encourage guys to look at this a little more practically. All right, be a little bit more honest and move with integrity, and you'll be fine. So with all that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful for you. I do have a Godlike Mastery Initiation Program free class tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to sign up for that, now is the time. Okay, check the link in the description box below, and I'll be able to send you a link to the meeting after you follow the instructions based on the link in the description box below. If you want to set up a one-on-one with me, you can reach out to me as well. And I appreciate everybody. You know, I just reached 20,000 subscribers today on my YouTube channel specifically. And I just want to give a quick thank you for everybody and appreciation for everybody, because I mean, when I first started this, I didn't even know what was going to happen. I just knew God was pushing me toward making these videos, and I didn't really want to do it, but I felt like I had to be obedient to him. And now it's like, oh, now I see what God wants me to do now at a more concrete level. Like, I knew what I was meant to do, and I knew what I was going to do, but I didn't know how to do it. And now I'm seeing the formation of how play out before me. So I just appreciate everybody tuning in, and just thank you for this wild ride and sharing this common life. So with all that being said, peace be with you all. Until next time.